Hi guys, welcome back to News in 30 minutes. Hope you're all doing good. Let us today look at some of the important issues on 6th of December 2023. Before that, I hope this initiative has helped you enjoy reading newspapers. Okay, as I keep telling you, please don't stop reading newspapers. Newspapers is not just to understand the issues, but it is also to make sure that you develop the habit of grasping as well as develop the habit of comprehending information. Okay, and this ability comes only through newspaper reading. So be consistent with news in 30 minutes, but read newspapers. Newspapers are not a substitute, but they are a very important component of your preparation. Okay, with that, let us start off with the first issue of the day. The first issue is about the nutritional status of India. Okay, it is mainly about the nutritional status of India. Now see, the author says, make steady nutrition grants if we have to reap the demographic dividend. Okay, now the reason the author talks about nutrition is because we have made huge progress. We have made huge progress when we have to fight food security. So we have achieved food self-sufficiency post Green Revolution. Okay, post our Green Revolution, we have achieved our food security. Okay, and we have achieved huge strides in fighting poverty. Okay, however, what we have not achieved is to attain nutritional security. This is something that we are lagging behind, and this is where we have to focus, is the essence of this article. Okay, so before I get into where we are exactly lagging with respect to nutrition, I would like to first give a glimpse of how we have fought poverty through good governance and good administration. Okay, so if I take poverty, then according to multi-dimensional poverty index, obviously they look at poverty from different parameters or deprivation factors, and through that the multi-dimensional poverty index says that we have 415 million Indians who have moved out of poverty, between 2005 to 2021. So that is a huge number. Okay, so 415 million Indians have moved out of poverty from between 2005 and 2021. That is one. The second factor that it says is the incidence of poverty. Okay, the incidence of poverty has also fallen from 55% in 2005 to 16.4% in 2021. Okay, so look at the incidence. The incidence of poverty has also fallen. This shows that India has been committed in alleviating poverty, and it has done a fair job in moving people outside the ambit of poverty. Okay, so this is what is with respect to the status of India regarding poverty. But the most important deprivation factor that is inhibiting India's growth is malnutrition. The most important deprivation factor that's inhibiting the growth of India is malnutrition. Now, what is the definition of malnutrition? The definition of malnutrition is, malnutrition refers to deficiencies or excesses or imbalances. It need not always be deficiencies. It can be deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and nutrients. This can become your introduction. Malnutrition is defined as deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and nutrients. Okay, and I'll also give you the conclusion that you can use is the status of malnutrition. The status of malnutrition in any country, okay, becomes the foundation. The status of malnutrition in any country becomes the foundation of demographic dividend. of demographic dividend in that particular country. Okay, so if the status of malnutrition is low, then obviously you can reap the benefits of demography. If the malnutrition statistics is very high, obviously that means the demographic dividend cannot be reaped because you are suffering from low productivity. The reason is because the active population is malnourished. If the active population is malnourished, obviously they will not have productivity. That in turn will affect the economy of the country, which in turn obviously will make sure that we don't reap the demographic dividend. Okay, so one, you got to know the definition of malnutrition, that is deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and nutrient. And also you learn a status of malnutrition of any country becomes the foundation to reap the demographic dividend. Okay, so with that, now let us come to the context of India. So if I bring the Indian context, okay, now if I take Niti Aayog's report. In Niti Aayog's report, it says that 14.9% of Indians are categorized as poor. Okay, 14.9% of Indians are categorized as poor according to Niti Aayog's report, 2023 MPI report. Okay, now amongst this 14.9%, the major contributor, amongst this 14.9%, the major contributor for these people to be poor is malnutrition. It is malnutrition. Okay, so amongst this 14.9%, 30% of the people are malnutrition, and because of that they are poor. Okay, so according to Niti Aayog, 14.9% of the people are considered poor, and the major contributor for them to become poor, almost 30% of them, is due to malnutrition. So I hope you got this. This is the importance of fighting malnutrition. Okay, the next statistics is if I take from 2005 to 2019-21, 2005-2006 to 2019-21, where you got the NFHS 5 survey. Okay, now the way India has handled its nutrition, if you take stunting and if you take underweight, of children less than 5 years of age, okay, if you take stunting and underweight of children less than 5 years of age, then this stunting and underweight has increased by 12 percentage points and 11 percentage points. Let's see, it should have decreased, but it has increased. Also, if I take wasting as a parameter, in the same time span, the wasting has reduced. However, the reduction is very less. It is just 1 percentage point. Okay, and if you take anemia in children as well as women, in both the cases it has reduced. It has reduced only by 2.3% in children, and it has reduced only by 5.7% in women. Okay, so though with respect to anemia you are seeing declining trend, the decline is very less. Though in wasting you are seeing declining trend, the declining is very less. In stunting and underweight of children below 5, you are seeing actually increasing trend of 12 and 11 percentage points respectively. This is the overall nutritional status of India. Okay, so this is the reason why it is very important for us to fight this nutritional malnutrition. Okay, we have to improve our nutritional security. Okay, the reason why we have to improve our nutritional security is, look at this is the analysis part. The reason why we have to improve our nutritional security is, if we, according to the global nutrition report, if we invest in nutrition, the benefit to cost ratio will be 16:1 if we invest in nutrition. Look at this. Okay, that is, for every 1 rupee that you invest in nutrition, you are going to benefit almost 16 rupees from it. So this is a very huge consequence of investing very small sum of money. So this is the reason why the 15th Finance Commission actually came up with something called nutritional grants. Okay, so the 15 Finance Commission had actually come up with nutritional grants of up to 7,735 crores. So this was given to all states and union territories. Okay, and the author also says the 16th Finance Commission should also create something called nutritional grants, because any investment in nutrition will have a huge benefit cost according to the Global Nutrition Report. And as I told you, nutrition is very important not only to fight poverty, but also to make sure that the labor activity and productivity increases, and overall it acts as an engine for the economic development of India. So overall, if we have to reap our demography, the young demographic population that we have, if we have to make sure that this demography becomes a dividend, we have to make sure that we attain nutritional security. So I hope you got the analysis. Okay, so this author has very well-rounded way made us understand, though we have fought poverty successfully, there is still a long way to go, because we have to fight nutritional insecurity. Okay, we have to fight malnutrition that is widely evident, as you can see with the statistics, that is widely evident in India. Okay, so this completes the first issue of the day, and I hope you have made down these notes, because these are some statistics that will help you tremendously in your answer writing. Okay, so with this, let us get on with the next issue of the day. The next issue is Citizenship Act Section 6A. Assam's indigenous people will become foreigners, the petitioners tell Supreme Court. The top court is examining the constitutional validity of Section 6A of the Citizenship Act relating to illegal immigrants of Assam. Okay, so obviously the case is still going on in the Supreme Court. So the point is not about Section 6A. I'm not telling that Section 6A is going to come in the exam, but what is important is for you to understand what is this Citizenship Act. What is the Citizenship Act 1955, and what is Assam Accord, and why is this Section 6A coming in use? Because of Assam Accord. So these are some things, that background that you should know, which can come in the exam. Okay, so now just to give you a background, what is happening is there is something called Section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, Section 6A of Citizenship Act 1955. Now this was included in order to give effect. This was included to give effect to Assam Accord. It was included to give effect to Assam Accord. Okay, now what is Assam Accord? I will come back to it shortly. Basically, now why is this challenged in the Supreme Court? This is challenged in the Supreme Court because they say that this Section 6A, they are challenging it in the Supreme Court because they say it is discriminatory. It is discriminatory and it is arbitrary. Okay, the reason why they say it is discriminatory and arbitrary is because the cutoff date, if you take the cutoff date for regularizing illegal migrants, they are both different. With respect to Assam, it is different, and with respect to rest of India, it is different. This is what is the challenge, because rest of India, it is decided by the Citizenship Act 1955, and Assam is decided by the Section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, so if you take Assam, it is different. If you take rest of India, it is different. This is because it is different, they are telling that it is discriminatory. Okay, however, one argument why it is discriminatory is mainly because the government says that it is mainly because of humanitarian reason. Okay, because there was Bangladesh liberation war. This necessitated India to have something called Assam Accord in order to regularize those immigrants that came before the liberation. Okay, who came before the liberation. Okay, so before I get into the Section 6 of Citizenship Act 1955 and talk in detail of this, first you should understand what is Assam Accord. Okay, if you take Assam Accord is basically regularizing the illegal migrants in Assam. It deals with this, regularizing illegal migrants in Assam. So that is the main contention of Assam Accord. So here there is something called definition of foreigners. Who are foreigners? So the first point is all persons who came to Assam prior to 1/1/1966. All persons who came to Assam prior to 1/1/1966 will be regularized. That is, their names will be present in the electoral rolls. Okay, so this is first condition. The second is those people who came from 1966 to 1971. That is before the Bangladesh Liberation War happened. Those people who came during this period, obviously they would have suffered a lot of discrimination in the Bangladesh, hence they would have come into our country. Now as a humanitarian measure, okay, these people, what we have done according to Assam Accord is, these people have to register. They have to register themselves in the registration offices. They have to register themselves with the registration officers. So once they do that, after the period of registration, if they stay in Assam for 10 years, after 10 years, they will be regularized. That is, after 10 years, their name will be included in the electoral rolls. Okay, so that is the condition. And the third is those people who have come on or after, those people who have come on or after March 1971. Those people who have come on or after March 1971, they are expelled. Okay, they are expelled. Okay, that is, they will not be regularized, they will be identified, they will be termed as illegal migrants and they will be sent back. So this is what is the Assam Accord. Now as you know, look at this cutoff date, 1971. This 1971 cutoff date is given its value by including this Assam Accord in section 6A of Citizenship Act 1955. So that is the contention. The contention is section 6A has created 1971 as the cutoff, whereas if you take the rest of India, there is a different screening of who the citizens are. Okay, so what is this rest of India? What is the Citizenship Act? Now I will come to that. So I hope you understood what is section 6A. Section 6A is basically the Assam Accord that is put into action via Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, now if I come to what is Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, one, you should understand that first, before I get into this act, you should understand within our constitution, article 5 to 11 talks about citizenship. Okay, and part 2 of the constitution deals with citizenship. And if you take article 11, article 11 exclusively says it is the parliament which has the power to govern, right to citizenship through legislation. Okay, so it is via this power that the parliament has enacted Constitutional Act 1955. Okay, so I hope you got the background. So within this Constitutional Act 1955, okay, Citizenship Act 1955. The Citizenship Act 1955 talks about acquiring citizenship. It talks about, let me just erase this. The Citizenship Act 1955 talks about acquiring citizenship. Okay, so how do we acquire citizenship? In following ways. One, you can acquire it by birth, you can acquire it by descent, you can acquire it by registration. Okay, you can acquire it by naturalization. You can acquire it by incorporation of territory. Okay, so one, by birth, by descent, by registration, naturalization, incorporation of territory. However, one more way how you can acquire citizenship is through Assam Accord. Okay, that is what is section 6A of the Citizenship Act. So this is what is acquiring citizenship. The next is, it also talks about citizenship termination. So citizenship termination can happen in these many ways. One, renunciation. It can happen through renunciation. It can happen through termination, and it can also happen through deprivation. Okay, renunciation is if that person renunciates our citizenship. Termination is if that person gets citizenship in some other country, our citizenship automatically gets terminated. Deprivation is if that person has committed some type of crime or breach of certain privileges, then that person is deprived of the citizenship of India. Okay, so these are the two things that the Citizenship Act does. Okay, now the cutoff date for let us say birth. The cutoff date for birth in Citizenship Act is if a person is born in India between 1950 to 1987. If a person is born in India between 1950 to 1987, then that person as a right of birth will get the citizenship. See, the cutoff is different for the rest of India. If you take descent, then the person, irrespective of the person being born from 1987 to 2003, one of his or her parents should be from Indian descent. So only if one of his or her parents are from Indian citizenship, only then by descent this person will become citizenship. So if you can observe, acquiring citizenship through birth, descent, registration, naturalization, incorporation of territory, this has a different parameter. So this is of the rest of India. And if you come to the Assam, this is a different cutoff period. That is actually the contention amongst the petitioners, saying that this becomes discriminatory. However, this is still an issue to be resolved in the Supreme Court. So you don't have to worry about this being discriminatory or not. But what is important is for you to understand what is Citizenship Act, what are the constitutional provisions within which the citizenship is given to the people of India, and what are all the important ways in which the citizenship can be acquired and the citizenship can be terminated. These are the things that you have to focus on from the exam perspective. So I hope you understood the entire issue of Citizenship Act and Assam Accord. What happens to this, we will look at it in the future because we have to wait until the Supreme Court takes a decision on this, but you don't have to worry about that. That is not your problem. Okay, so with that, let us go to the next issue of the day. The next issue is cybercrime centers, specialized teams formed in hotbeds or hot spots. Okay, now the reason why this is in news today is recently the National Crime Report Bureau in its 2023 report suggested that there has been 25% rise in cyber crimes in India compared to last year. There is 25% rise in the cyber crimes in India compared to last year. And also within the report, the NCRB has warned all the law enforcers that it is very important for these law enforcers to stay ahead of the curve. That means they have to proactively, they have to go on the offensive and try to make sure that they build a proper cyber security architecture. That is what the NCRB is warning the law enforcement officers or the law enforcement agencies. Okay. In this regard, what the Home Ministry has done is, under the Home Ministry there is an institution that is set up that is called I4C. Okay, I4C means Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Okay, it means Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. Okay, now what is the important job of this I4C? One, it comes under Home Ministry, as I've already told. The second is it is envisaged as the nodal point. It is envisaged as a nodal point for curbing cybercrime in India. It is a nodal point for curbing cybercrime in India. Okay. The next is it provides framework. It provides framework or ecosystem. It provides framework or ecosystem for law enforcement agencies in order to prevent cybercrime. This is very, very important. Okay, it provides framework or ecosystem for law enforcement agencies to prevent cybercrime. Now, what is this coordination? The coordination can be both vertical, it can be both horizontal. Okay, the coordination can be vertical as well as it can be horizontal. When I say vertical, it means it can be between center and states, or it can be between center and different states. Horizontal means it can be it can be between different departments within the union government. Okay, so it can be horizontal coordination, it can be vertical coordination. The vertical can be center state or center with different states. The horizontal is departments of different ministries in the union government. Okay, so this is the entire idea of Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. I hope you understood this. Now, one confusion that students usually have is, if I take I4C and if I take CERT-IN, if I take I4C and if I take CERT-IN, what is the difference between them? Okay, now as I told you, I4C is basically under Home Ministry. Okay, CERT-IN, okay, this is basically Cybercrime Emergency Response Team, India. This is CERT-IN, comes under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay, the next is, this creates framework and standards basically for law enforcement agencies to improve their ability to fight cybercrime. Okay, it creates frameworks for law enforcement agencies to improve their ability to fight cybercrime. CERT-IN basically is a warning agency. It issues alerts. It issues alerts with respect to cyber security. Okay, the cyber security can be cybercrime. It can be cyber espionage. Okay, it can be cyber, ransomware or malware. It can be anything. So basically, it is mainly a body that is in charge of issuing cyber alerts. Okay, so they are basically to make awareness of different breaches amongst different institutions or different cyber spaces. So that is what is the job of CERT-IN. Okay, so they make sure that the alerts come much more faster so that we can take proactive steps to stop losses and to stop penetration of these cyber intrusion. Okay, so this is the difference between I4C and CERT-IN. So I hope you got the difference. Now, the article talks about I4C and what are all the different things that the government is doing under I4C. The first is, they say that they have set up 7 joint cyber coordination teams. Under I4C, they have set up joint cyber coordination teams. Okay, now this joint cyber coordination teams is basically to handle cyber hotspots. Okay, these cybercrime hotspots, these cybercrime hotspots are: one, you have in Mewat; the second, Jamtara; the third, Ahmedabad; next, Hyderabad; then you have the Chandigarh; then you have Vishakhapatnam; then you have Guwahati. Okay, so these are the 7 cybercrime hotspots where joint cybercrime teams have been set up under I4C. So they will be looking through to stop any type of cyber crimes. The next is, they have also created something called Citizen Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting and Management System. Okay, the name is big, but this is a system that they have created. This Citizen, I'll just repeat this: Citizen Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting and Management System. Okay, Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting and Management System. So this is also set up under I4C. Okay, the next is, they have also set up something called Open Online Course Platform. Open Online Course Platform. This is also under I4C, where police officers are given training regarding cyber crimes and cyber frauds, and they also issue certificates. On completion of these course. Okay, the last is regarding departments, regarding different departments under different ministries. The I4C will also take up something called cyber hygiene training. It also takes up something called cyber hygiene training, and the cyber hygiene training is also done by I4C for different departments within the different ministries. Okay, so these are some important steps taken by the I4C regarding stopping cybercrime and reducing the incidence of cybercrime in India. Okay, so I4C as a part of cyber architecture is very, very important. So please make sure that you have some idea about I4C and how I4C is different from CERT-IN, and how these two will come within the cyber architecture of India. Okay, cyber architecture of India. So having this idea is very, very important, not only from prelims perspective, but GS3, there is a syllabus point called cyber security. And you know that one question is always asked on cyber security every year. So you should have a very good idea about what is happening. Okay, so this completes this topic of cybercrime centers, specialized teams formed in odd beds or odd spots. Okay, so with that, let us move on to the next issue. The next issue is COP28 summit. 22 nations including US commit to tripling nuclear capacity by 2050. See, there was a few weeks back, there was something called, in the same COP summit, there was something called Global Renewables and Energy Efficiency Pledge. Global Renewables and Energy Efficiency Pledge. So this basically talked about tripling renewable energy by 2030. Okay, this basically talked about this. India was not part of this. India did not become part of this Global Energy Renewables and Energy Efficiency Pledge. Now this is another pledge. This pledge is basically talking about nuclear energy. Okay, it is talking about nuclear energy. So this tells that this is led by USA. This is a US led initiative, that it says that we have to triple the nuclear capacity by 2050. Okay, which again India has refused to be part of. Okay, now let me just read out this statistics, as this is important. As of now, globally, they're talking about globally, about 370 gigawatts of operational nuclear power capacity is installed in 31 countries. Okay, you can use this fact, this is important. Okay, as of now globally, about 370 gigawatts of operational nuclear power capacity is installed in 31 countries, providing about 10% of the world's total electricity. Okay, so 370 gigawatts in 31 countries, overall providing 10% of the total electricity generated is coming from nuclear energy. Okay, so this is what is statistics given by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Okay, so obviously this India is not part of this initiative of tripling the the nuclear energy capacity by 2050. So not much to speak here. However, coming to India's context, if I bring Indian context, currently the amount of capacity that we have is 6,780 megawatts. This is the installed capacity of India regarding nuclear energy. Okay, regarding nuclear energy. So this is the installed capacity. This comes, if I have to just approximate this for you to make it simple to remember, this comes to 7 gigawatts. So currently India's installed capacity comes up to 7 gigawatts approximately, and we also are constructing 8 more reactors. So if we construct 8 more reactors, we'll be adding 6,800 more megawatts into the current installed capacity. That will be another 7 gigawatts. So this is something that India is doing. However, currently if you take the nuclear energy in India, we are completely in nascent stage. The reason why we are in nascent stage is, out of the total electricity generated in India, only 3% of the total energy generated in India, or the total electricity generated in India, comes from nuclear energy. Okay, so the total electricity that we generate in India, only 3% of that electricity comes from nuclear energy. So India is currently in a very nascent stage. However, India is having a very ambitious project to not only improve, to add, or see, we are overall trying to double our capacity. Okay, so that is what India is currently trying to do. However, India has not taken up the pledge because India has a far way to go, and India's focus is more on the renewable energy. What you should understand is nuclear energy, okay, is clean energy. Nuclear energy is clean energy. However, nuclear energy is not renewable energy. Nuclear energy is not renewable energy. That is something that you should understand. Okay, they are not renewable energy. They are exhaustible. The sources can exhaust. Okay, however, nuclear power plants, if they give you the statement, it is true. Nuclear power plants do not emit greenhouse gases. They do not emit greenhouse gases. So this is something that you should know. Okay, so this is regarding the Indian context of nuclear energy. Now, just to show you where are the nuclear power plants that are operational. Okay, nuclear power plants that are operational. One is the Narora atomic plant in Uttar Pradesh. Then you have the Rajasthan atomic power station near Kota. Then you have the Kakrapur atomic power station in Gujarat. Then you have Tarapur atomic power station in Maharashtra. Kaiga, Karnataka. Then you have Madras atomic power station in Kalpakkam, Tamil Nadu. Then you have Kandukolam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so basically these are the important power plants that are operational in India. Okay, however, so you just have to know these names. Narora, okay, this comes somewhere near Kota. This is Tarapur, Kakrapur. Okay, Kakrapur is in Gujarat, Tarapur is in Maharashtra, Kaiga in Karnataka, Kandukolam and Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. These are currently operational. Okay, now if I take a few that there are under construction and proposed plants that are taking place. Okay, some places that you should remember where it is proposed for nuclear energy to come up. Okay, so let me go from south to north. The first is you have to know this Jaitapur plant. Okay, so Jaitapur is in Maharashtra. So I just want you to know the names. Okay, you don't have to know the statistics of how much energy is going to be installed and all those things. Know the names. Jaitapur in Maharashtra. Then Miti Virdi in Gujarat. Okay, that is one more place where plant is coming up. Then Mahi Banswara. Okay, then there is Mahi Banswara in Rajasthan. Okay, the next is Gorakhpur in Haryana. Gorakhpur in Haryana. The next is you have two places in Madhya Pradesh. One is Chutka, another is Bhimpur. Okay, you have Chutka and Bhimpur. Okay, these are in Madhya Pradesh. The next is Haripur in West Bengal. Haripur in West Bengal. Kovada in Andhra Pradesh. Kovada in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so these are some of the places where the nuclear power plants have been proposed newly that they have to come up. Along with that, obviously they will be adding more capacity within already present nuclear power plants. So this is basically for you to learn the places, because it has to it helps in Indian mapping. That's why you have to learn these places. Okay, however, with these places you have to make sure that these places are also known. Okay, so these are some important places that you should know from the Indian mapping perspective. However, from mains perspective also, we have covered what is the current status of nuclear energy in India and what is the importance of nuclear energy, especially for a country like India, because it does not hold so much of value when we take renewable energy. However, it is also important that we focus on it. Hence, the government is trying to double the capacity by including 8 more nuclear reactors. Okay, so these are some of the important issues of the day. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you people are getting enriched of how to absorb and how to effectively use this current affairs in mapping your current affairs back to your static syllabus. Okay, so as and when you keep getting diverse topics of current affairs, so these diverse topics of current affairs should be used in order to map more and more static. So the more diverse the topic of current affairs, the more coverage of static syllabus, that in turn will enrich your UPSC preparation, and over a period of 1 year, if you keep doing this, your entire syllabus will be covered. Okay, so that is the idea. That is the main idea for me to do it. And as I keep telling you, keep developing that thinking mind. Don't stop thinking. Always keep developing that thinking mind. See how you can analyze different issue from different dimensions. Okay, so with that, I will see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support. If you have loved this video, please make sure that you like, share and subscribe, and please let your friends know about this initiative so that they can make good use of it. With that, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.